but hopefully people come rolling in. Welcome to Unit 4, Lesson 7. You're looking for the tasks for U4L7 under assignments or on the weekly calendar. Today's date is the 21st. There's a lot I want to get through today, actually, so not going to do the parent share today. Sorry about that, but I'd like to jump right in with homework review and then getting started on our final exam project. So homework's looking good. Just had to make sure that you completed the lung capacity lab that we worked on in class. Make sure you've submitted that. And then also completed the outside magazine reading on this debate issue that we're going to be focused on for our final exam. So it introduced you to Bristol Bay and Dillingham, where you see the salmon fishing industry going up against the mining industry. The mine they're proposing is going to be one of the largest open pit mines in the world, 50 to 80 year lifespan. The Pebble company who is behind it has been doing everything they can to minimize their environmental impact during their surveying. There's a big divide between locals who want the jobs from the mine and the infrastructure and locals who don't want the mine and want to keep on fishing and following more traditional ways. It would be a massive open pit mine. I showed you the 4 groups as well as the subtopics. Looks like a little bit of bias towards anti-mining environment groups. So there are going to be some people who are going to be assigned to groups that you might not necessarily have chosen, but I did it on more of a first come, first serve basis. Interesting voting. Looks like most of you voted no against the mine. 2 people voted yes. My other class was actually evenly split. I'm going to be curious to see if this will change as we start to learn more about the situation and do some research and hear some presentations. Any questions or comments on those homework assignments? Alrighty. Then what you're going to do for the next 10 minutes is on tasks to complete. Step number 2, go ahead and open the Red Gold Debate project description. It's a Google Doc that looks like this. There's an introduction, timeline, a list of the topics and the subtopics and the topic questions associated with them. You'll be assigned to one of these groups, and then you'll pick one of the subtopics, and those questions are meant to guide you in terms of what you'll present. There's some information about the presentation, templates for the presentations, references, resources, and so on. So please, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to read through that. You don't need to really click on any of the links, just read through the doc itself. And as you're doing so, go ahead and complete this Google form, the Red Gold Debate Project Google form. It's also, the link to it is right there on step number 2. Again, I'm going to time for 10 minutes. Let me know if you need help or have questions, and we'll come back together to review once it looks like most of you are done. 10 minutes to read through the project description and fill out the Google form. All right, this is the start of a project we're going to work on for the remainder of the semester over the next 2 weeks, right up and during the final exam period as well. So let's just share the results and I'll talk you through some of this as well, see how you did. So first question was just what's the overall goal of this? And it is to do some research to back up either a pro or anti-mining claim or stance. So you will all be assigned to either a pro-mining group or an anti-mining group. And you're going to be doing research into a specific viewpoint and topic to answer certain questions to then back that up. And we'll have a little vote at the end. So the debate itself will actually be during the final exam period. So the timeline, that's when it's due. You guys are taking your final exam on Monday, the 1st of February. That's our final exam period. We have a 2-hour slot. Probably won't use the full 2 hours, but we'll see how the debate actually goes. But it'll conclude with a vote and you'll be graded on that. Groups and topics. So what's going to happen is you're each going to be assigned to an interest group, right? You're either pro-mining for jobs, pro-mining for the environment, or anti-mining for the environment, or anti-mining for fishing. And then within those, there are subtopics, right? I split them into kind of 4 key argument areas, and then those have little questions associated with them. So in your group, you just need to choose one of those 4 subtopics. That's what you're going to focus on. And so the presentations are PowerPoint presentations that you're going to build a slide for your specific subtopic for your group. And there's guide questions there for you. But again, you can divert from those a little bit. So what should you do if you cannot be present during the presentation period or the final exam? You need to send a video ahead of time so that the class can watch it. So just looking back here, I know the kind of topic subtopic thing might be a little confusing for some people. So again, you're going to be assigned to one of these four groups. So everybody's either going to go into pro mining for jobs, pro mining environment, or anti-mining salmon fishing, or anti-mining environment. And then those are groups of three or four. And then so each of the three people or each of the four people in that group will choose one of these, right? So for example, this was the anti-mining environment group. One of the people in that group would do the history of mining disasters. One person would do salmon spawning Bristol Bay. One person would do water contamination. And one person would do the Pebble Mine impacts. And then below that are just some questions that I think you should be able to answer in the slide or slides that you make. But you don't have to stick to these perfectly, as you'll see here. So um, this project will be graded. So here we go. So presentation, while subtopics and topic questions are provided, it's okay to do all of these things, okay? You can change the order of the subtopics and questions. You can include information that isn't related to one of the questions in there, answer something else if you want. You can delete a section, right? Again, I've got 4 subtopics per group, but some groups might only have 3 people. So you don't have to do a 4th one if you don't want to, or if you want to do it, you can just distribute it amongst each other or something like that. The grading will be individual, right? So you're going to be putting your name on the slides that you make. And so I'll be grading you on the slides that you made and your presentation. So you don't need to worry about a group grade overall. Everyone's going to have to do their part and do things individually. So you're each going to be graded on the slides you make and the presentation of those slides during the debate. And for references, I have some resources there at the end. These are just some preliminary websites that I think are useful. There's some 5 pro mining ones and 5 anti-mining ones. And then you need to include any references in the speaker notes section of each slide. It's very easy to do on Google Slides. And again, I think you'll figure out a lot of this as we kind of keep rolling into this, but any questions or comments or anything that comes to mind after reading through that? Okay, then the next thing is the groups. So I was grading the homework assignment where you had to read the article, and the last question on that was asking you which group you would want to be in. I did this on sort of a first come first served basis. So again, not everybody got the slot that they necessarily requested, but here are the groups as they currently stand. Pro mining jobs is going to be Harrison, Ryder, Jake, and Summer. Pro mining for the environment is going to be Valen, Thomas, and Joseph. Anti-mining for salmon fishing. So the salmon fishing group that has an anti-mining stance, Harmony, Nathan, and Sloan. And anti-mining group looking at the environment is going to be Clarence, Augie, Bianca, and Abby. Now, there is a Google form. This is on tasks to complete step number 3, project groups. Go ahead and fill out the red gold debates groups Google form. So this is your chance to tell me whether you're happy with the group you've been assigned to, or if you feel really strongly like I don't want to be in this particular group or this particular viewpoint, and then I can try to shuffle some people around to make sure everybody feels good about where they are. So everyone, please take a moment to fill out that short Google form about groups. I'll throw like 3 minutes on the clock. And the Frontline, PBS Frontline is a public broadcasting network. So you can access both of these. The links to them are right there. They're also in the tasks to complete list. So we're going to watch about the first 20 minutes of the Red Gold documentary, and then we'll watch like 5 minutes of this PBS Frontline. They're all based on the same footage, same thing, but Frontline has some more information about the mine that I think is good to have. So while you're watching, the key things I want you to pay attention to, these are the 4 key things. First of all is the various locations that are listed. The setting is really important here. The various quotes and statistics that are mentioned are shown on the screen, and I don't want to be annoying, but I'll read a lot of the quotes that pop up on the screen because they're hard to notice sometimes. Watch out for bias. This documentary in particular has some bias towards one side of this argument versus another. And note any counter arguments that you hear and opposing views. I think the documentary does a good job of showing people saying one thing and then another group of people saying something completely different. And that's what this debate project is all about. So any questions before we get started? All right, and obviously now you should be familiar with what group you're in, and so it's good to be kind of aware of pay extra attention to the views of the fishermen if we see them and that sort of thing. So, okay, we'll watch these together. I'm going to share my screen and optimize for video. So hopefully it should come through fine. But again, if it is really spotty, you're welcome to watch these on your own. You can access them through the links in the tasks to complete. Okay, first quote, "Do not be swayed by those who lead you to think this mine will be an ecological disaster." That's Bruce Jenkins. He's the chief. And the next one, "I can't imagine a worse location for a mine of this type unless it was in my kitchen." Just checking audio and video are coming through okay for everybody. And thumbs up. Great. Okay.